England's squad this year is absolutely stacked. Bellingham, Kane, Foden, Saka, Palmer, Rice. Gareth Southgate's side yet again set their sights on international glory. Their hunger to win the European Championship will be greater than ever at the 2024 Euros after reaching the World Cup quarterfinals in 2022 and, of course, the 2020 Euros final. However, the big question is, do England have a problem with this Euro? The England midfield is arguably as strong as the attack, with Rice, Bellingham and Mainu or Foden, etc. It's insane. This could perhaps be rivaled by Germany with Wirtz, Kroos and Musiala, or Spain's Rodri, Gavi and Pedri. But nevertheless, many would say England's midfield is the best, at least on paper, at this tournament. Is there perhaps another underrated midfield that we're missing? Comment down below and let us know. For the last few years, despite good performances on international duty, the England back five has constantly been called into question. From Jordan Pickford to Alexander-Arnold and of course Maguire, the problem has been said to be at the heart of defence. The defensive line is perceived to be England's major problem leading into the tournament. Now, although the aim of a football match is, of course, to outscore the opponent, the importance of the backline in football cannot be understated. For example, Greece went on to win the Euros in 2004 simply by having an excellent defence. And like Alex Ferguson has always said, attack wins you games, but defence wins you championships. So, the English national team has a long list of good defenders and goalkeepers. Is it possible that these players are simply not up to scratch, or are they being scapegoated? Going into the 2024 European Championships, the likely English back five is pretty predictable, and it has been consistent over the last few months. Jordan Pickford in goal, with a back four of Kyle Walker, John Stones, Harry Maguire and Luke Shaw. Although Shaw has had an injury and hasn't played much football for the last few months, which we'll get onto that soon. And then, of course, we have the likes of Trippier, Gomez and Trent as first reserves. So let's start with the big man, Jordan Pickford, the England #1 goalkeeper, who's been at the receiving end of a lot of criticism in recent years. Former United legend Roy Keane has always said that Pickford is not a top goalkeeper. He said, "Pickford, for the goal, my goodness, he looks so small in there. There's no spring, he's not anticipating it." Micah said he's a top goalkeeper. He's not, Keane opined. Brian King also doesn't believe Pickford has what it takes to be the English #1. Pickford, England's #1, we must be struggling for goalkeepers, the former Everton scout told Goodison News. Given Pickford's own dip in performances, the criticism may have been fair 3 or 4 years ago, but not nowadays. I mean, so far this season, Pickford has played 38 Premier League matches, conceding an average of 1.3 goals per game, keeping 13 clean sheets, and came in second in the Golden Glove rankings. He's only given away 1 penalty and has only made 1 error leading to a goal all season. And he also has the highest number of key passes per game. Now, these are definitely not the statistics of a bad goalkeeper. Yes, of course, he has had bad days, but without doubt, he's one of the best goalkeepers in the Premier League, and that's been true for the last couple of seasons. Pickford has been consistently excellent, though, over the years for England, and that's always saved his reputation and status as England's #1, despite questions over this position. 5 clean sheets in 7 games at Euros 2020 and 3 clean sheets in 5 games at the last World Cup. Pretty good. So is Pickford the problem? Well, we here absolutely don't think so. As well as being a very underrated goalkeeper, he's a great leader on the pitch for England, which can go a long way, especially in tight games. Then, at the heart of the central defence, there's the obvious one, which is John Stones, who had issues at his club back in the day and was left on the bench, but he is currently one of the best centre-backs in the Premier League. In his early days, Stones was one of the most criticised England players. Most of this criticism, we believe, was unfair and not valid. It revolved around his intermittent amount of playing time at Manchester City, which he has now moved on from, and he played a key part in City's treble and Premier League success in the last few years. Now, even if you don't think John is world-class, you have to at least admit he's nearly there, and his composure and passing rate at the back for England will be key. This is, of course, all banking on if he stays fit, which of course he should be and must. Next up is the biggest one, Harry Maguire. Look, we can all agree Harry Maguire has been the most criticised player in the world of football in the last few years, and at times it was difficult to keep track of the number of defensive errors. The period of subpar performances by Maguire caused Erik ten Hag to bench him in the 2022-23 season, and he was relieved of his club captaincy before the start of the 23-24 season. His reputation also suffered internationally, despite Southgate keeping the faith with him and relentlessly picking Harry to start many games in this period, which must have helped his confidence and subsequent regaining of his form. Now, although he did have bad games, we believe Maguire has been unfairly criticised, and this was well noted by Jamie Redknapp, for example. He said, "As a professional, I think he's been treated disgracefully by football fans," Redknapp said on Sky Sports. "Everywhere he's gone, his own fans, England fans, he's been ridiculed, and it's not fair. Of course he's made mistakes. Everyone makes mistakes. But I look at some of the other players who play for United and make mistakes, and they don't get a quarter of the stick he does." Now, regardless, the Manchester United defender is one of Southgate's most trusted players, and he remains the most likely partner for Stones at Euros 2024, in what will be their fourth tournament together. His upward turn in form has perhaps gone under the radar too. He's been one of United's best, most consistent performers this year, showing glimpses of his previous domineering self at Leicester throughout the current season, and he will be desperate to prove to world football that he's still the real deal. Now, as far as right-backs are concerned, the English national team is blessed with world-class players to choose from like Walker, Alexander-Arnold, Reece James and Kieran Trippier, who has just come back from injury. The English national team probably has the best right-backs in the world. However, it is fair to say that Kyle Walker will start if fit, as Trent's defending being needed more than his attacking ability while playing for England due to the immense attacking talent the squad already has going forward, and that plays against Trent. Now, Reece James, of course, has constant injuries, and Trippier may be needed elsewhere. Regardless of Kyle's occasional criticism, he's always shown his critics that he is one of the best fullbacks in the world, being captain of the team that's now won 4 Premier League trophies in a row with a treble in there as well. It's not bad, is it? Experience, recovery pace, and the ability to play on the right back of a 3 all make Manchester City defender an essential part of Southgate's plans. Now, currently, Luke Shaw is the preferred left-back in this England team, bringing an attacking threat on the overlap as well as defensive stability. Southgate once referred to him as the best left-back in the world. At the last Euros, he was instrumental in England's run to the final, and he scored in the final. Now, people have just about managed to shake the thought of an overweight Luke Shaw from a year or two ago at Manchester United. He did sort himself out and has had a couple of good years for the Reds. But more recently, injuries have been the problem. He spent most of this season out with a leg injury and now has a hamstring strain that's set to keep him out until the end of May. He's without doubt the biggest injury question mark of the back 5. If he does play, England have a solid left back who's familiar with his left centre-back partner and has experience on the biggest stages of them all. Now, although he is very good, his availability and fitness for the Euros remains uncertain. With Chilwell out the squad, Trippier is still a viable alternative, and Shaw may struggle to regain his place in the Euros even if he recovers in time. Chilwell has been ruled out of the squad as he has his own injury problems. And following on from this, Kieran Trippier has been spoken about as playing left back if needed, and it is the general consensus that he would do a job there for sure. I mean, he has just returned from injury though, but he is on the plane for sure. With the number of in-form, world-class defenders and goalkeepers that the Three Lions have, do England have a problem this year? No, they don't. The defensive line is in safe hands, literally. And if you're still not quite convinced, just look at who's protecting them. One of the best, if not the best, CDM in the world is Declan Rice, who'll have the support of young and energetic Kobe Mainoo or Conor Gallagher, and then, of course, none other than Jude Bellingham himself. So, do you think England can go all the way, or will it be yet another disappointing turnout for the Three Lions at a major tournament? Let us know what you think in the comments section below, and we'll see you in the next video.